Hello friends, welcome to Alchem IAS. This is Rajesh, and before starting I would like to thank you all for showing such a nice response to our first video. Now let's start our today's newspaper analysis in the series of Indian Express Demystified. So सबसे पहले I would like to tell me about myself. I'm a doctor and I have done my MBBS from GMCH 32 in Chandigarh. I have as job experience of working as assistant medical officer in IOFHS. This is my fifth attempt in civil services. I have written mains 4 times and cleared the mains exam in 2019 and 20. I have recently been qualified in UPPCS 2020 exam. So इसके साथ हम स्टार्ट करेंगे. हमारा जो आज का पहला आर्टिकल है इंडियन एक्सप्रेस में, जो कि फर्स्ट पेज में है. अगेन आज का न्यूज़पेपर भी वैक्सीनेशन के ऊपर बहुत फोकस किया है. थोड़ा सा इंटरनेशनल न्यूज़ की इंटरनेशनल अफेयर्स के भी न्यूज़ हैं. तो सबसे पहले हेडिंग के साथ स्टार्ट करेंगे कि curbs tighten but vaccination slackens in country's most vulnerable districts. So this is a part of Indian Express investigation series where the paper has highlighted how vaccine inequity is getting worsened in India. So what is vaccine inequity? We should know. So equity, we should know कि one is equality, one is equity. Equity means providing as per the needs of an individual, which are justified. So vaccine inequity is a clear-cut problem that is emerging in front of us while we vaccinate our citizens. तो इसमें सबसे पहले जो डाटा है पास्ट 2 वीक्स का, दैट वाज एनालाइज्ड बाय द टीम ऑफ इंडियन एक्सप्रेस, और देन सर्टन ऑब्जर्वेशंस हैव कम आउट ऑफ इट. पहली ऑब्जर्वेशन ये है कि आउट ऑफ ऑल द डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स दैट वी हैव, approximately 2/3 of the districts are showing a very high positivity rate. So positivity rate is used to tell how many cases are there in the country. So positivity rate generally we can understand it as, so for example we take a sample and we test it. So this testing, out of how much samples, say 100 samples we take, and then we test 100 samples, and out of it, say 20 samples turn positive, then we will say it is 20% positivity rate. Now it is a sometimes what happens, we are not able to test all the people who have symptoms. Some people are asymptomatic also. So this positivity rate is used to judge the extent of virus. So it has been found that 2/3 of the districts are having positivity rate more than 20%. This means that we are certainly having very high case load. अब उसके साथ साथ 3 observations have been made. First observation is with regard to vaccination. Compared to last week of April, first week of May experienced a overall decline in vaccination. So this is very strange that overall decline has happened. Second aspect is that with regard to rural areas, the decline has been more prominent. However, the third aspect is that those districts which had surge, there have been some improvement in vaccination. So clearly 2 major areas of concern is that why there is an overall decline in vaccination, and more specifically rural decline. Why vaccination is important is because of the policy, the twin plank. Why we are so aggressive about vaccination? Because we are right now following a twin plank model based on UK's experience. So we are having 2 planks. One is we are having aggressive containment, and in a way we are buying time to simultaneously vaccinate. Right now we are having lockdowns in various states. In fact, Delhi also have a lockdown. So containment measures are being taken, but we are not taking the advantage of these containment measures because we are not vaccinating the required number of people and at the pace which is required to contain this, to break the chain of transmission of this virus. So this is a matter of concern. So this takes the debate to the next aspect: vaccine inequity. Why there is a vaccine inequity? So it manifests in multiple ways. For example, first inequity is with regard to the small hospitals and the large hospitals. So post the liberalized COVID-19 vaccination strategy of May 1, the hospitals have been allowed to procure their own vaccines from the 50% quota that is allocated. So now there is a problem with regard to large hospitals and small hospitals. Small hospitals are not able to procure and provide logistics to provide vaccination. So mostly in the rural areas we have smaller hospitals, while cities have larger hospitals. This is a big concern with regard to inequity in rural urban areas. Rural urban inequity also manifests in something related to digital divide. We have seen that according to TRAI, Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, we only 58% Indians have access to internet. Now in this there is within this 58%, if we see in the cities like Delhi, we have more than 100% internet penetration, while in rural areas it is very low. So there is a rural urban divide. Now why the digital divide is manifesting in a vaccine divide? Because this is with regard to the CoWIN platform. So what is this CoWIN platform? CoWIN platform, this is an online platform where people register themselves to get vaccinated. Post May 1 guidelines, it has now become made mandatory that all the people would have to register on CoWIN platform, then only they can be vaccinated. Now there are problems in registration. First problem is that rural people in rural areas are not able to register because they do not have internet. So it is a clear-cut exclusion there. Second aspect with regard to CoWIN pre-registration is that this registration component, it is available only in English language. In a country like India, which has so many different dialects, languages, English knowledge is very limited, and especially in rural areas it is far more complicated. So this is an issue which resulting in a digital divide manifesting in a vaccine related divide. Now with regard to this CoWIN platform, what can be done? First of all, senior officials have said that there is a need for pre-registration, because if we do not pre-register, then it would result in the vaccination center itself becoming a super spreader event, because there would be so much congestion in vaccination center that virus will spread. So pre-registration is important. However, we certainly can provide some innovative mechanisms like first of all, multiple languages should be there. Second thing we can have is that we can use the common service center in order to help people in rural areas to get their vaccine slots registration. And third is that which has already been done, that CoWIN platform has now been made open to has been made an open platform. What it means is that these various tech companies, they can use this open platform in order to identify if there is a open slot for vaccination, and they can remind it. So example, for Paytm is also doing this. So this kind of things should be encouraged. So with this this aspect of the article comes to end. Now let's move to our second article. Please don't deny. Now this is an editorial again related to COVID. So I have decided to do it with the COVID related news only. So now recently we are having a COVID surge, but it is going to rural areas. But during the first wave, there was a misconception that developed. It is mainly an urban phenomena because it didn't go to rural areas so much. So our policymakers, what they did was they ramped up infrastructure, health related infrastructure in urban cities, but rural areas still are not having required infrastructure, especially health related infrastructure. So now what we are seeing is that this COVID is now spreading to rural areas. अब रूरल एरियाज में जा रहे हैं, there are 2-3 problems that are happening. First is testing is not there in rural areas. Very low testing is there. Because of that, underreporting is there. Underreporting is also seen in death registration. There is a huge underreporting which can be clearly seen that what are the official numbers, and if we compare with the number of funerals, we will identify that no, these official numbers are highly underreported. But now this data is also important. Data about testing, about mortality associated with COVID is very important because it can help in designing interventions. Second is people are saying that in the third wave may come after the second wave. We can learn from our data of the second wave in order to respond in the third wave. Third is that what successes we had, the case studies where the states were able to manage this second surge. We have this Kerala and Maharashtra model. So they rely so much on data. So certain state governments, they are not comfortable with data going public. So in a way, for example, UP government, it is not comfortable with the data being available to all the people in a transparent manner. So this may turn to be counterproductive because after all, everything would be known to the people about the mortality and testing. So in order to better respond, these state governments should not deny the COVID casualty related data from being reported. So that is a lesson that we should learn. Third aspect is challenge ahead vaccination. So this article comprehensively deal how the vaccination, what are the problems that are facing in vaccination. So it starts with the fact that COVID disease is the first disease which has so many vaccines developed against it in such a short amount of time. In fact, we will see that there are 250 vaccine candidates, and out of which 10 are already approved for emergency use authorization in various countries. So now there are 3 types of vaccines. So we can cover the static also. First is traditional vaccines. So these traditional vaccines, first class, are these they are inactivated virus or say bacteria, or they are attenuated ones. So whole of the virus is used in this. So there are COVID vaccines also like this. Even this polio vaccine is a type of this kind of vaccine where we have inactivated, attenuated, whole of the virus is used. Second is subunit vaccines. Rather than say virus, complete virus, some unit of virus is used. For example, in case of corona, we can use spike proteins. The AstraZeneca vaccine, what we call Covishield, it is this kind of vaccine where a spike protein of virus is used to make the subunit vaccine. Third is this new kind of vaccines, new generation vaccines, where rather than having subunit or say complete virus, we are having just a message of how to make this antigen that is sent, and that is sent through mRNA. So mRNA is given, which provides messages to the cell to manufacture the antigens of the virus in a way providing the immunity to the cells. So all the 3 types of vaccines have been developed against this virus. Moderna was the first company which developed the vaccine against the virus, and it was an mRNA vaccine. It is a first new technology that we used. So even after so many vaccines, why first of all world is facing problem in vaccination? So first problem is that the demand is huge. the we have 7 billion people, so 7 billion people we have to vaccinate. So that is a huge demand. Second is the unethical behavior of developed countries. It has been found that these developed countries, USA, West, having huge pockets, have booked and even stocked these vaccines. They constitute 20% of the population, and now they have a control of about 80% of the vaccine supply. Rather, if we see Africa, only 1% of their population is vaccinated through COVAX platform, where Covishield was produced. This is the second. Third is that international politics. Certain vaccines are being approved in certain jurisdictions, certain are not. For example, Sputnik 5 was denied access in Brazil, and for example, Chinese vaccines are not being approved in Western countries. So these are the problems that are hindering in world getting vaccinated. However, why India is failing to get vaccinated? Because after all, we are the hub of manufacturing. In fact, India has one of the largest capacity to manufacture, and Serum Institute of India is one of the largest manufacturers in the world. So even after that, why there are two reasons. One are supply side reasons and one are demand side reasons. So supply side, we are seeing that even though we have only 2 vaccines, so we need to increase the number of vaccines that should be available. Second aspect is that the hard infrastructure. So for production of vaccination, it requires the raw material processing, certain productions, then putting them into walls. So it requires a lot number of steps are there. So for increasing the existing infrastructure, this we would need at least 2-3 months so that production starts. So in this regard, we are certainly going to face a supply side crunch for 1 to 3 months. Our demand side, we are experiencing vaccine hesitancy, where people are not getting vaccinated in the country. So these are the problems that are there. Now what way forward is there? We should increase the supply, more vaccine should be there. We should reduce the vaccine hesitancy. And third aspect is, which we are working out on, intellectual property rights. Now, in order to have more vaccines manufactured in India, what we need is that a liberalized vaccination IPR regime. So India, along with South Africa, has decided to start negotiations under WTO to waive the IPR rights of these companies for a particular period of time. So that more and more vaccines can be manufactured, and in fact US has also supported it. So in a way, this will help in vaccinating our country and the world as well. So this was the article about this. Next is this: WHO classifies Indian COVID strain as variant of concern. So here we have to know what is a variant. So as a virus multiplies, what happens is that the machinery of multiplication uses various enzymes which are not safe, which are not like making the exact copies. Certain mutations are produced in these viruses. So there are so many mutations. So these mutations, some mutations are called variants, and they are of significance for the world, because they can create certain problems in our vaccination. So certain kinds of variants we have to be very careful. First of all, if a variant becomes more infective, that is, it will infect more number of people. Second is, it becomes more virulent, that is, it produces more disease. And third is, it is able to do something called immune escape, means they are able to escape the immune response of the body that has been garnered either through vaccination or by infection. So all these 3 kinds of mutants are of variants nature. Now with regard to variants of concern, we have to understand 3 nomenclature. One is variants of concern, second is variants of interest, and third is variants of under investigation. So any new problem that comes, so we classify these as variants of under investigation. Further data is needed. Second is variants of interest. Any of these variants which have some changes in spike proteins are variants of concern, where more studies are there. And finally, variants of concern. This is decided by WHO, where any of these properties, if there are any change, so variants of concerns are notified by WHO. And at present we have three variants. We have the UK variant, we have Brazil variant, we have South Africa variant. So these variants are there which have which can have any of the three things. And now WHO has decided to classify Indian variant, which is also called B1117, as variant of concern. It is a double mutant. If anybody want to know more about what is this double mutant, we can make a separate video about it. So with this, let's go to the next one. This is again related to the COVID related news, a guiding force. This article is by Chandrakanta Laharia. So it is about Supreme Court's decision to establish a 12-member national task force. So what is the need, why there was a need to establish this task force, what are the functions of this task force, and why it can be expanded. So first is, what is national task force? So it is a combination of experts from various fields, both inside the government and outside the government, which has been constituted for 6 months in order to ensure that the medical oxygen supply is maintained in various states, and right kind of management of oxygen supply across the states is done. So why there was a need? First of all, what we have seen is that Indian executive failed clearly in ensuring adequate amount of medical supplies. Second aspect is that most of our bureaucracies, the decisions are made by technocrats. So people are not having that much faith in technocrats in the bureaucracy. So specialist national task force would help in garnering the confidence of the people. Now, what are the functions? There are 12 functions that are assigned to it. The primary aim is to ensure the streamlined medical oxygen should be supplied across the states. So now what can be done? Should it be expanded? So the author is trying to make a case that this kind of task force should be its remit should be expanded, so that even essential drug supplies should also be taken into its mandate. So why it should be expanded? First of all, with regard to the medical oxygen, the three areas of concern have been, first of all, a preparedness. We had no plans about medical oxygen, how we are going to use the medical oxygen. Second aspect was production. So there were issues in production. And third was the supply of the vaccination. These three problems are already also there in drug supply or essential diagnostic supply. So in a way, the same kind of platform can be used, because this would be the area of specialization of this. The second problem with the drug supply is that we are having very high out of the pocket expenditure. More than 67% of our expenditure of the households is on out of the pocket expenditure, especially on medicines. States have in fact come out with free drug schemes, but these are not effective, because 67% itself shows that these are ineffective. So in order to make new policies, there is a need for a new task force to devise to give policy inputs. So the author is clearly making a case that the remit of this national task force should be increased further. So with this, let's go to the next article. This article is the Middle East reset. This is IR related paper 2 article, and it is written by C. Raja Mohan, and he is an expert in international relations, and we can in fact in the mains directly quote C. Raja Mohan in order to make a point. So what is this article talking about? So it is talking about two things. First aspect is what has been the change in Middle East post US withdrawal from Afghanistan, and second is what has been the change in the South Asia, that is India and Pakistan. So what has been the changes? First of all, why US policy towards the Middle East is changing? Because now increasingly what used to happen before US, it was England, UK, which used to have this kind of impact on international relations across the globe. Post decline of England, we have US, which is deciding, which is a key player in the region. In fact, it is called the pivot around which all the regional players and global players are maneuvering their foreign policy. So right now, because there are rapid changing happening in US policy, there is a scramble for designing new foreign policies by these countries. So why there is a change in US approach? First reason is that there are certain reasons US was invested into the region. First was the Israel security. Now Israel security. Second was oil supplies, to ensure oil supplies. Third was in order to promote a democracy. Now in all these aspects, these are no more the pressing needs of US. Fourth, we can say reduce terrorism. So first is Israel is having Abraham Accords, and it is improving its relationship with other countries. Oil production in US has itself increased because shale of production. At the same time, what US is experiencing is that it has had huge military costs in pursuing these strategies. All these regions are forcing US to come out of the Middle East. So because of that change, the dynamics in foreign policy is changing in the Middle East itself. One prominent pattern that can be seen in the Middle East is that these neighboring countries, they are trying to live with each other in a peaceful manner. It can be seen through these things. First of all, neighboring countries. 3-4 years back, there was a rivalry between Turkey and Saudi Arabia. Now that rivalry has reduced because first of all, Turkey feels that its economy is in jeopardy. Second is Abraham Accords and other developments has ensured that Israel is improving relationship with UAE and other Arab countries. Third aspect we can see clearly is that even Saudi Arabia and Iran, they are opening diplomatic channels slowly, informally, and their traditional Shia-Sunni conflict that was there, it is being reduced. These are the impact on the changes that we can see in the regional players. Second, in the global players, we are seeing China and Russia wanting to play a bigger role in the region. Third aspect is with regard to India and Pakistan. Now in Middle East, India is having very pragmatic policy that it would have good relations with all the countries irrespective of the conflict. It will not take sides. So it has paid dividends to India, that India is having good relationship with practically all the Middle East countries except for the case of Turkey, and that too it is seen that when the passage of time the relationship with Turkey would also increase. However, Pakistan, it used to have a ideological relationship based on pan-Islamism. In fact, Prime Minister of Pakistan, Imran Khan, he had ideas of having a pan-Islamic grouping of countries right from the Turkey till the Malaysia. But as it has been seen that these countries are not forthcoming in participating with Pakistan in these endeavors, and with regard to Jammu and Kashmir, we can see that Pakistan was left alone and nobody supported the case of Jammu and Kashmir. So this was the change we can see in Middle East. With regard to South Asia, US presence in Afghanistan was good for both India and Pakistan. So in India, it ensured that in Afghanistan itself, the terrorism would be at very low, and it provided an enabling environment so that India can take part into it. However, Pakistan wanted it because If there would be a military presence, the geostrategic importance of Pakistan will increase, and because their access to Pakistan can be done through Afghanistan can be done through Pakistan, so geostrategic importance of Pakistan would be there. So now US withdrawal is happening. Now, Pakistan would first of all the face problem of terrorism entering their field, plus it would have to tweak its policies. India also need to tweak its policies. Only way we can learn from Middle East region is that we should increase our cooperation, India and Pakistan, so that this common threat and peace in the region can be ensured, and no untoward incidents happen. And at the same time, Pakistan should also remember that a religion based politics rather than based on state interest can have ramifications on its foreign policy. For example, one case is being highlighted here. Pakistan, it is in the Pakistan's national interest to improve relationship with Israel, but because there is a domestic opposition to engagement with Israel, Pakistan has not been able to engage with Israel. So going forward, we should two lessons can be drawn. First is non-ideological, especially based on religious policy, should be followed by South Asian countries. And second is that in order all the countries need to have a new foreign policy to deal with this situation. And third aspect is that regional cooperation would be key towards having a lasting peace in the region. So this is what this article and the author is telling about what the Middle East reset is there. We can directly quote that according to C. Raja Mohan, there is a Middle East reset post withdrawal of US from Middle East as well as from Afghanistan. So having done this, let's go to the next article. This is about the clashes at Jerusalem's Al-Aqsa Mosque. And so many people are hurt. So first of all, why it is in news and what is the relevance of Al-Aqsa Mosque? So why is it in news? It is in news because there were two people in East Jerusalem. They were Jews, these Palestinians, and they have been they're relocated outside of East Jerusalem by Israel, and so that their place can be taken by some Jews of the country. It is a part of a wider strategy to change the demography of the region. So it has raised concerns all over. First of all, this is seen as unethical by the Gulf countries, that slowly Palestinians are being denied their homeland, and in fact they are being replaced in this way. Second is that even US and UN are saying that these are matters of concern and Israel should not follow this kind of policy. However, at the same time, there have been clashes at Al-Aqsa Mosque. Now, what is this Al-Aqsa Mosque and what it is significance? Now, Al-Aqsa Mosque, it is a place in East Jerusalem, and it is at the heart of the controversy. So it is a place which is holy to both Jews as well as Muslims. So Muslims consider Al-Aqsa Mosque as very important. Jews also have a dome of rock and a wailing wall, so which is holy to Jews also. So this is a religious place holy to both Jews and Muslims. Now Jews, the mosque is not open. Post 7 days war, what happened was Israel handed over the management to Jordan. So post that thing, what now happens is that in Al-Mosque, non-Muslims are not allowed, but there is a Jewish community is trying to enter it and ensure freedom of religion. So in this regard, this was a precipitating event where these two people were relocated, and this is manifesting as violence in the holy site in Jerusalem. So these are the news in this is a news, and we should know where is Al-Aqsa Mosque and what is this the Wailing Wall all these things are important, and this can be used in prelims. Al-Aqsa Mosque seen recently in news. So what has been the Israel's response is that Israel has said this activity is on account of the terrorist organization, and second is that it will ensure freedom of religion at the place. So there are clashing is in the Jerusalem. Next is with regard to the WhatsApp policy. So this is a security related aspect news. So WhatsApp recently came out with a new privacy policy. So as we know, WhatsApp is a subsidiary of Facebook. So it came with the policy that some data can be exchanged from WhatsApp users and Facebook. Later it was clarified that this policy is applicable only to the business accounts. So there are two accounts in the WhatsApp: business accounts and those accounts which is used to communicate with the family members or friends. So any business account is there, so it is always notified. You would have also seen that those people having business accounts, they have notifications where telling that this is a business account. So this policy is applicable to business accounts. So now what can Facebook can put some ads in on these business accounts. So these kind of there is. Now with regard to updation of this new policy update. So what WhatsApp is saying that it will not delete those accounts. Rather, what it will do is that if these accounts do not, the deadline for adopting is 15 May. If this updation is not done by 15 May, and after some weeks they will not update their chat list. So this is in a way we can say what WhatsApp policy is with regard to user not accepting privacy terms. So they will have limited functionality. Their functionality will be reduced. So with this, let's now finally come to the case studies. Now these case studies are of importance in mains answer writing. So these can be used to substantiate answers. For example, relevance of MG narregs. So as there has been a second peak, we can see that MG narregs demand has nearly doubled in the last year. This shows that it is a safety net for our people, and this kind of scheme is very much helpful in providing safety jobs, safety net to these migrant peoples and those people who are now out of the job. So with this, we will be ending today's newspaper analysis. I hope you liked the video. Those who please like the video, comment on it, subscribe the channel, and thank you so much for showing so much love in the last video, and we have now very high number of the number of subscribers is increasing. So I will like to thank you for that, and see you tomorrow for next session of Indian Express. Thank you.